greasy pizza, fries, cookies. That's what school lunches are made of, right? Well, not so much anymore. School lunches are changing thanks to the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act. It was enacted into US law this year. The law requires 97,000 American public schools to provide healthier food. Well, in theory, it's supposed to mean more fruits and veggies, less saturated fats, less salt. Great news, right? Well, the food industry doesn't seem to think so. Companies like Kellogg's and Coca-Cola have spent millions of dollars trying to prevent these changes. And here's the kicker. Food lobbyists were actually involved in crafting the legislation itself. And when you actually read the bill itself, you'll find that it's not really a complete overhaul of school lunch health standards. But still, the big food industry is fighting the changes and turning school cafeterias into a political food fight. The First Lady, Michelle Obama, is making kids' health a priority and has championed the new legislation. Lawmakers across the country seemed to be on board, but just as the program was being rolled out this year, Republican lawmakers have been trying to roll it back in. They've pushed to allow certain schools to opt out of making these changes to their cafeteria menus. But why? Do they want kids to be fat? Like Big Oil and Big Pharma, there's Big Food, and one of their biggest consumers? Kids. Big Food has a dedicated team of lobbyists and cash to influence Washington leaders, and they concentrate their money on members that serve the US Department of Agriculture, who decide the nation's food policy. That translates to millions of dollars in lobbying, so it's not a surprise that Big Food has used its lobbyists to try to shape the guidelines of the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act. And it's also targeted the School Nutrition Association, or the SNA, to try to push back. The SNA board should have been the program's natural allies, and initially they were. But now they're amongst the most vocal critics, leading a lobbying campaign to allow schools to opt out of following the guidelines. Maybe it's because they're backed by food industry heavyweights like Domino's Pizza and Pepsi. In fact, just about half of the SNA's $10 million budget comes from Big Food. For Big Food, childhood obesity is less important than profits. And the ever-revolving door that sums up Washington, D.C. doesn't help. Just last month, a leading former PepsiCo lobbyist named Joel Leftwich was named Chief of Staff of the Senate Agricultural Committee. That's the same agricultural committee that does regular overhauls of different nutrition programs, including the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act. And his former employer, Pepsi, has been key in fighting local soda taxation and ensuring junk food remains available at schools. So how is all of this happening? How does this have so much say in our kids' diets? Well, we've got separation of church and state in this country, but corporations and state, not so much.